Hello and welcome to Earth and Space Science, Geology 3 at Pasadena City College. I'm your instructor. My name is Elizabeth Nagy. A little bit about how to pronounce my name. It's spelled N-A-G-Y, and a lot of people say that as a two-syllable name, Nagy, but I use the Hungarian pronunciation, which is Nagy. So you can call me Dr. Nagy or Professor Nagy. And you'll also see my name hyphenated as Nagy-Shadman. So you'll see that in my email address and the bookstore, maybe. So don't be confused, that is still me. I'm a geologist by training, and I've probably taught this class more than 70 times since I've been at PCC. I love this class. I love teaching about all the different aspects of Earth, including space and the oceans and the weather. And I think it's a really fun class. I'm really glad that you're here. I know it's online, maybe not what we all planned, but we're going to try to make the best of it. So let's take a look at your Canvas page. Here's your home page, and up here is the most recent announcement that you should read, and that's where your 3 most recent announcements will always be. Then I have a little introduction here, and then here's where you should begin the course today, if today's the beginning of the class. So do these 3 things: read the welcome announcement, which is up here, read this message below, and this kind of describes all of these different options that you have over here: module, grades, announcement, discussion, so you know what those are. You'll spend most of your time in the modules section, and then when you're done looking through this, you can go ahead and click on that modules tab and begin the semester. Now, another thing that's over here on the left is the red file menu, and those are Canvas features that all of your classes will have. So there's a calendar that you can click on, and that will show you your calendar of due dates. It can also be put into an agenda form. There is an inbox. The inbox is very important because that's how you can send me a message, and it lets me know that you are in this particular class. Because if you just send me an email, I don't know which class you are in. I teach several classes, and sometimes it takes me a bit to figure out if you're talking about lab 3, which lab 3 is it, which class is it. So it's always good to try to get me through the inbox. The bookstore can be reached through here. There's a library. The PCC library can be accessed through here. There are tutoring services you can access, and then also Canvas help. So I'm going to jump up to the modules here. If you have another Canvas class, your instructors might not use and format their class this way, but this is the way I do it. And I'm going to hide myself for a minute here. Okay, so right now I have everything closed. You can also expand everything by hitting this, and everything kind of blows up so you can see all the detail, but that's a little overwhelming. So let's start here with the orientation module, which does say start here. And if you click on that little triangle, it opens up, and you can see quite a bit of stuff there to do. And what I've done is I've alphabetized them so that you are kind of drawn to do them in order. I suggest that you do them in order. You don't have to. But once you've completed all items, you'll get a little check mark that says you've done everything in the module. So the module starts with an overview, and then there's the welcome letter, which you all have received, but it's here if you need to see it again. And then the very first part of your check-in assignment, there are 3 important parts that you have to do in the next few days to make sure you've secured your enrollment place in the class. The first one is to watch this video. Yay! So that's going to be done by the time you're done. Now this is my video from last semester, so yours isn't going to quite look the same. So I'm going to go back to modules. If I wanted to, I can keep clicking like this on each individual letter and then click back to modules to return to this page. Or let me go back to see where it's watch the video. At the bottom of each one, it says next or even previous. So you can move along in a module that same way. So I'm going to go to next. Here's the course syllabus. It says all due dates are here. This is really, really important. You're going to come back here all the time. Everything you need to know about the course and the due dates and the grades, you will find it here. So the general information is listed here, including what topics we're going to cover and for how many weeks and what weeks and when our exams are. The student learning outcomes, the performance objectives, those are things you would learn no matter who is teaching you your course in Geology 3. A little bit about course communicating and email, discussion forums, and grades. If we go up to the top, we then have all these other choices: homework, labs, quizzes, discussions, projects, and exams. So basically, these are all the things that are going to make up your grade. Homework, let's check that one out. So as it says, homework is 10% of your grade. It's usually due on Wednesdays and Saturdays. It consists of 5 to 10 questions, and it's open book, open note. You can try your homeworks up to 3 times, and I'll keep the highest score. And here's the schedule. So homeworks are available at the beginning of the topic time period. So for example, the first exam is going to cover introductory material and astronomy. So all homeworks related to those topics are available on February 16th, which is the first day of class. They all have different due dates, of course. But you could look at them or even try them once whenever you want. Then after exam number 1, the second series of homeworks are all going to be available after that exam is done. And those are going to be on meteorology and oceanography. Then we'll have exam number 2, and our final exam will cover geology. Our exams are not cumulative. They will only cover the material that we've learned since the previous exam. Laboratory assignments are listed here as well, including the details of what I've assigned for each lab. I do not generally assign all problems and all questions. So you want to make sure you look here so you don't do too much. Now, on rare occasions, I do say just answer all questions. So this is where you're going to get all information about your lab details, including the due dates. Quizzes are listed here. Quizzes are only available 4 days before they're due. And that's because I don't want you to accidentally take a quiz too early. There are going to be 11 quizzes, and I will drop your lowest quiz grade. So you want to look at these little instructions to see. Sometimes I drop the lowest 1 or 2 grade. Basically, your homework is going to come before we discuss a topic, kind of get you ready. And then the quiz is going to be after we've discussed a topic, after we've done the lab, after you've done the homework, to see that you've mastered the material. So that's kind of the idea. We also have discussions. We're going to have 6 discussions in the class. And these actually, it turns out, are kind of great because you get to talk to your fellow students, and they're going to be 2 parts to each discussion. And our first discussion is this week, so I'll talk more about that in a moment. We have 2 projects and 3 exams. So this is all in part D. Let me go back to the module here. So all of this is right here. You're going to, like I said, return here often. Grade policies are listed here. Policies for late work, attendance, plagiarism. I'm not going to go through all of this right now. This is in yellow because this is what you have to do to make sure your attendance has been recorded. The only way I can know that you are attending the class is that you're participating in the class. So in an online class, attendance is equivalent to participation. So you have to do these 3 different check-in assignments the first week of class, which will tell me that yes, you're here, you're in the class. Otherwise, I will drop you and give an ad code to someone else because there is a wait list. Here's some information on dropping, plagiarism, and then late work. I do want to mention this real quickly. Typically, I do not accept late work. Zip, none. Unless you have a note from a doctor or a court order, in which case I'll make an exception. However, because online is maybe not the way we all decided to learn this semester, I've made an exception, and that's described down here. If you turn in a late assignment within 24 hours of the due date / time, and everything is always due at 11:59 p.m. on the day it's due, so the last minute before midnight, you'll get 50% credit if you turn it in the next 24 hours. So that gives you a little tiny bit of a buffer. Now, you can't pass the class if you constantly turn everything in a day late. Of course, 50% is an F, but it gives you a little bit of a buffer. Some other things that are in this orientation module include the ethics of written work. We're not going to do a lot of writing in this class. This is a science class. We're mostly going to be working on labs. And then here are the course learning outcomes, as return here often. And when you start watching the learning videos, you're going to be introduced to these in a little more detail. So you can look at those on your own. Here are my office hours. They're all on Zoom, and their Zoom links are all here. So you can just go right there and find the links to Zoom. Some frequently asked questions, a little bit about me. And then here's part 2 and part 3 of these homework assignments that you need to do to secure your place in the class. Homework number 1 is a multiple choice orientation module review. So it gives you multiple choice questions about what I just went over and a little more detail. And remember, you get 3 tries. It's not timed. And as long as you get that third try in by midnight on February 18th, your highest score will be recorded. The third one is a discussion. So let's go look at that real quick. This is how the discussions will be set up. You will be given a prompt by me, which is something that I ask you. And then you're going to reply by, usually it's going to be by Wednesday, but this week, because we don't start till Tuesday, it's going to be Thursday. And you put down your initial reply. And then by Saturday of that week, you're going to respond to 2 of your peers. So you're going to be able to see what everyone else wrote. And there's some more information here. And there's a grading rubric. So the prompt for this very first discussion is this. Please select one of the following 7 choices and write 5 to 8 sentences in response. So you choose one of these. Number 1, have you ever felt an earthquake? And then it asks you some more questions. 2, have you ever experienced an extreme weather event, such as a hurricane or a tornado or a severe thunderstorm? Number 3, have you ever been interested in rocks, minerals, or fossils? And by the way, while I'm thinking of it, we do have rock and mineral sets that we're going to distribute in the 3rd week of the semester. So stay tuned for information about that. Number 4, have you been interested in planets, stars, or galaxies? Number 5, do you spend a lot of time at the ocean? Number 6, are you concerned about climate change? And number 7, if none of those really resonated with you, write about what you're most interested to learn about in the class. So this is not really going to be scored on what you write. It's just the fact that you write. You got to do it. You got to perform it. And what do? This is not real obvious the first time you do it, but you just go into the reply box. It opens up and you type, here is my contribution. I love earthquakes. Oops. Okay, well, you get the idea. I'm not going to waste time. And then you would post reply. Okay, I'm going to just cancel that. So do that by Thursday at midnight, and then on Saturday, you'll have read through what other people posted, and you can comment on 2 of your peers on what they said. And then finally, at the end of every module, I'll sort of have a wrap up. What did you learn? And so these are the things you should have learned at the end of the orientation module. Now, this first week is the only week that you're going to do 2 modules. Okay, so we've got this orientation module, and I'm going to close it. And then we have week 1. And in the next video, I'm going to go over week 1 really quickly. This is the only week where we're going to have 2 modules to do because the orientation module stuff is really pretty quick. Okay, stay tuned.